Today we're going to take a look at Neovim's native way to configure LSPs. This was added with Neovim 0.11. I'm going to use a quite minimal configuration so that we can focus on configuring the LSP stuff. So apart from the tokenized color scheme, which I installed manually, there will be no plugins or plugin manager in this video. We'll also have a look at the built-in auto-completion, which also was added with 0.11, as well as take a short look at the diagnostics configuration. At the end of this video, we'll have a complete LSP setup for Lua with auto-completion and diagnostics without any plugins. And you will know how to add support for other languages as well. If that sounds good to you, I'd be happy if you join me in this video today. Hi, my name is Marco. Let's get started. Let's first quickly go over the basics of what LSP is. There are chapters in this video, so feel free to skip this part if you already know what LSP is all about. LSP stands for Language Server Protocol. Furthermore, in this concept you have a language server and you have a client. The basic idea behind this protocol is that you use this to communicate between the language server and the client. The client is an editor most of the time. LSP was actually developed by Microsoft for VS Code, but Neovim implements this protocol as well. There are different language servers which know about specific languages. We are going to use the Lua language server in this video, which knows about Lua code. Think of things like auto-completion, go-to-definition, error diagnostics, or code formatting, and things like that. So imagine you open a Lua file in Neovim. Neovim then connects to the Lua language server and sends requests to it. So for example, it can ask for possible completions at your current cursor position. Or maybe you're on top of a function name and want to go to the definition of that. Neovim then sends a request to the language server and asks for the location of the definition. The language server then analyzes the code context and returns the list of relevant completions or the location of the definition of the function. Neovim then displays this information to you. So this is basically the LSP concept in a nutshell. So before we dive into the configuration I built here, I want to show you this blog post by Gregory Anders. He's a core maintainer of Neovim. He wrote this blog post here about what's new in Neovim 0.11. He also goes over the LSP changes, over the simple setup and configuration instructions, also covers something about diagnostics, and it's very well written and easy to follow. I encourage you to take a look at this if you have any problems setting this up. Of course, Neovim's help is a great resource as well. The LSP page here has a quick start section and it should get you up and running very quickly. So if you need to look up anything, I encourage you to look at these two sources. I will link them in the description below. So let's actually look at my configuration here. I'm going to show you the structure of the config in this terminal window here with the use of Azure. So you see it's quite simple. At the root we have this init Lua file. Then we have an LSP directory. That's where we actually configure our LSP servers. Then we have our Lua directory, and inside there I have structured it to have a config subdirectory where all my configuration actually happens. Then you can see here's this pack directory, and that's just here because I installed the tokenized theme here. But that's beside the point of this video. I just wanted to show you that this is a really minimal config and there's no plugins involved and no plugin manager here. We can configure this quite simply. So maybe you already had an LSP setup in Neovim before, and probably you used Mason to set up your language servers. But the language servers are not really a part of Neovim, right? So for now, I just install my language servers through my package manager. As I'm on macOS, I just use Brew for that. So I just installed Lua language server through Brew. So by doing it this way, I don't need Mason to set up my language servers. Maybe I will add Mason back later. Also, I'm gonna rebuild my Neovim config from scratch again, based on the minimal config you see in this video. If you got any suggestions or maybe have a great config for yourself, please drop a comment below. So let's dive into the config a little bit further. So open up Neovim here. Let's just start with the init Lua. And you can see I'm just requiring here my actual config files that you saw before. So I set up a few options I always set up here. Then I have some config options here. So these are just some common options I always set. I think it's not necessary to go over them one by one, but if you're really interested, you can look at them in my config files. I will link them in the description below. The only thing that's really new here and maybe important is if you use the LSP hover window with Shift K by default, to have this border actually show up here, you have to set this option. So the option win border has to be set to something you like. This changed with Neovim 0.11. So if you want to have this border on your hover window and also on all other pop-up windows in Neovim, you have to set this option. So let's get back to the other file here. I also have my key maps set up here. nothing special here, so let's jump back. And I have this auto command. This I actually yanked from Kickstart, I think. So just one auto command that highlights on yank. Then down here, there's actually just the one call to activate the color scheme here. So the actual thing we care about is in this LSP configuration. So the first thing we do here is actually enable this language server Lua ls. Let me go back to the config structure here again. And we can see again here in this LSP folder, we have this lua_ls.lua file. And this name here, lua_ls, actually corresponds with the call we just made here. So this has to be the same. So let's open up this file we just talked about. So LSP lua_ls config. For each language server, you create this file in this LSP directory, and then you return a table with a command that starts the server, file types where it automatically should attach to, and some other settings. This you do for each LSP server. So if you wanted to install GoPLS or something else for Go, you would create another file here called gopls.lua, and then you would fill in the command, the file types, and so on for this LSP. The options for each language server are a little bit different, of course, but you have to look this up then. So the first step is to set up this LSP directory here, create a file here, returning this table with the settings for the language server. And then somewhere else in your code, you have to actually enable this. For me, I do this in this lsp.lua file in my config directory here. So let's go back there and go back to this file. So here we actually enable this in this line number 9. Of course, we still have the ability to do something on the LSP attach event. So you could set up your keybinds here for your LSP, for example. I actually want to use the new default keybinds for now and try to get used to them. I just set up something else here. So first I check here if this LSP server actually supports completion. And if it does, I set up some completions options here that I don't find annoying for auto completion actually. Because in Neovim 0.11, there's actually auto completion built in for LSP here. You can enable this with this option here in this line number 16. So we actually have this auto trigger set to true here. And this is what enables auto completion. Let me just show you. Let's say I want to add another keybind here. I just type vim and then I type the dot, and you see the auto completion menu just pops up here. I set it up that it doesn't select anything by default. That's just no insert option. You can also use the no select option, I think. But this way I actually have a selection pre-selected, which I could use, but I could just keep typing here and would get my suggestions for key map in this case. So to actually use this, I just press Ctrl Y, but I didn't want to, so I just deleted this line. The only key map I actually set here is for the completion to activate it manually, because let me show you again. If I type vim.lsp or something like that, you see here also the fuzzy finding, which I set with the fuzzy option for the completion options, is working here. So I've got fuzzy matching for my autocomplete, which is very cool. And I can scroll through the matches here with Control N and Control P, of course. But now maybe I mistyped something, and if I now press delete, I'm out of the auto completion, right? So if I want to activate this actually again, I would have to kill the whole world, the dot, and then type the dot again. Or maybe I wanted to just start it here again. Then with this Control space, which I set in the line below here, I can just reactivate my auto completion here. And this is actually quite nice. So that's how you set up auto completion. Oh, another thing. I also wanted to mention that there's a link to my free Vim cheat sheet down in the description below. Maybe you're interested. And then I just wanted to show you this diagnostics. So you see this inline diagnostics here that something's wrong with my file. I've got an error here on line 17. I've got this nice explanation here, but this only shows up if I'm actually at the line. That's also something I configured. So you see down there's this Vim Diagnostics config. I enabled virtual lines with the current line only option set to true in the Vim Diagnostic config object. So let's actually use the default settings here, comment out this thing, and jump back here and uncomment this. Just save this. I'm not sure if I have to restart or reload this. Of course, I have to fix the error on line 11 up. So let's just delete this again. Write this. Let's just restart Vim here. And let's just introduce some errors here. So Vim blah, Vim foo, I don't know. Now we see if we center this, that all the lines with errors or warnings have these virtual error messages, diagnostic messages enabled by default. With the default configuration, you actually have to enable the virtual lines feature to see that. And that's basically how you set up LSP server and diagnostics and auto completion all natively in Vim 0.11. Of course, you could add more language servers, you could use all the LSP features, just add more files, return the configuration tables for the LSP servers in the LSP directory, and enable all the servers here in this Vim LSP enable call. By the way, if you get any value from my videos and want to help me out, like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks! If you actually enjoyed this video or enjoy my videos in general and want to support me a little bit more, I recently activated the YouTube membership program and there are some different levels to choose from. Maybe there's something there for you. It would mean a lot to me. If you want to learn about the global command, click the video that's popping up right now. Thanks for watching, see you around, and take care.